Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how I am personally preparing for TBC Classic and hopefully give you a few tips on how you can also prepare yourself. As many of my long-term followers will know, my heart really lies with the Death Knight class. That's the class I've played the most throughout World of Warcraft's lifetime, so I don't really have a obsession or an allegiance to any particular class, which means I'm not playing Rogue in TBC. I will be switching over to play a Shadow Priest, which is kind of the closest thing I can really get to playing a Death Knight. In the way I see it, it's basically just a ranged Death Knight. This is my new priest here. I have switched to a PvE server. I'm playing on Pyrewood Village EU. And by the way, my guild is recruiting for a Affliction Warlock. Anyway, let's move on. So, I made a video very recently about how to get very close to level 62, but basically 61.5 on the launch of TBC without actually having to go to Outland. And I'm actually doing that myself. As you can see, I have many quests in my quest log right now that are completed. I think I have about a good 12 quests completed. And many of these quests, particularly the best one here, is the Above and Beyond. As you can see, that quest is here. This will chain into new quests very quickly for a truckload of XP. This will give me nearly 40,000 XP when I turn it in, because you're just going to have to talk to this guy, and then you turning another quest, and then you turn another quest at a chest. And the same goes for, there's another really naughty quest that gives a similar amount of XP, and got the tip from Fake UT, by the way. You should definitely check his channel out, and I think it's this one here, the Battle of Darashar. It was actually a raid quest. When you turn this in, again, you turn it into an NPC, and then you turn in another quest to a random chest round the corner, and it gives a truckload of XP. So I've been stacking quests like this to just maximise the amount of XP that I can get from a single quest turn-in. I will obviously link the spreadsheet for all of these quests in the description of this video if you haven't already checked it out. And the next big thing I've been working on is actually getting some half-decent gear. This is a totally fresh character. I only got this to 60 a couple of weeks ago, so I've not really had the chance to have, any raid gear or anything like that. A lot of people are jumping into TBC with tier 3 gear, and they are going to be laughing. Luckily, when a pre-patch drops, which is very soon, we will be able to get access to the PvP gear. Now, if you look at the PvP gear, the unfortunate thing about PvP gear is it isn't really a full set like the raid set. As you can see, it's head, shoulders, chest, hands, legs and boots. Okay, this misses many different gear pieces, so I don't want to just have like crappy greens with like just plus intellect in the missing pieces. The missing pieces are wrist, belt, necklace, rings and cloak, and then obviously trinkets, and then we will be getting weapons from PvP as well, and obviously a wand is the missing link too. So what I've also been working on is obtaining gear, but prioritising gear in those slots, because there's literally no point in me soft reserving something in Molten Core that I'm going to replace in a pre-patch with PvP gear. There's no point in me soft reserving a great shoulder piece or a chest piece. This is why I've been working on grabbing some good pieces. Like for instance, I got this wrist gear from AQ20 that I soft reserved. The thing that's great about wrist gear, belt gear and everything, that not many people are soft reserving it for some reason. Most people are soft reserving weapons and the chest, the big keep gear like the chest and shoulders, and I've just had a really good time of getting these kind of gear pieces. I managed to get a good belt from Zul'Gurub, which is 29 spell power, right? You really cannot complain with that. And then I've also got a really good ring. This did cost me 200 gold though, which I'm kind of regretting, but I'll get over it. And I've also got a quest to turn in here, the Princess Surprise, which is going to give me this ring here, and I'm going to turn that in TBC because I want the XP from it. So I've got two great rings, belt, wrist sorted, necklace and cloak is what I really need. I just need a necklace and cloak now, maybe a couple of trinkets, and I'm going to be extremely powerful for when TBC drops. Now, to save time with farming PvP gear, if you look here in my bags, I'll zoom in for you, I have 20 marks of AV, I have 20 marks of Warsong Gulch, and 20 marks of Arathi Basin. Now, you may be thinking, why am I doing that? Well, you need actual marks of honour to purchase gear pieces. Primarily, all of the gear pieces require marks, which is kind of like a little bit frustrating. And they can only stack to 20 in Classic, but in TBC they will be able to stack higher. The thing I'm obviously going to prioritise is getting a weapon and an offhand, which is going to cost quite a lot. From memory, it's Arathi Basin marks of honour. So this is essentially, I've already found these marks of honour, which I can use in the pre-patch. The only thing I need to do now is farm a little bit more marks of honour and honour points. So, I mean, this only took me like a couple of days of farming, and I've just saved myself loads of time for when the pre-patch drops. What you can also do is farm Marks of Honor as many as humanly possible on the 17th, or, you know, depending on whether EU or US, basically the day before the pre-patch drops, and then what happens is you get mailed Marks of Honor, and then hopefully, providing it works, this trick, when a pre-patch drops, you will have loads of Marks of Honor in your mailbox, which you can immediately spend on a piece of gear. You just need to farm up the honor. So that's what I'm doing to get myself some beefy gear in a short time window, you know, because I've obviously not... This is a totally fresh character. I can't be like raiding knacks on this character. There's nowhere near, you know, enough time for me to start raiding knacks on this character and getting some knacks gear. So this is what I'm doing. If we go to my bank here, I can show you some more interesting things. So when TBC drops, what you'll be able to do is get certain items that are required for certain quests in Classic without having that quest. So all you need to do is have the item in your bank or in the inventory, go and accept the quest, and then instantly turn it in. So what you're effectively doing is allowing yourself to stack more than 20 quests by just using that little trick. I mean, I'm probably going to be turning in a good 40 quests when TBC drops. Okay, and what I have ready is I have Savage Fronds ready, that's for a quest in the Argent Dawn. I've got Bone Fragments, Dark Iron Scraps, Crypt Theme Parts. I need to farm a few more of them or just buy them. Bone Fragments, and then these Crystals of Power, and then also a Bijou. You can get a little bit of cheeky XP for turning in one Bijou, and I've resisted the urge to do it. And then also Argent Dawn tokens for the Shoulder Enchant. That's another great one that you can do as well. I've also got an item here called General Drakasaf's Command, which drops from the last boss of Lord Blackrock Spire. When I click that, it gives me a quest. Okay, so again, I'm stacking more quests over the 20 cap by having items in my inventory that give new quests. I'm going to be stacking a few more of those items very soon. I've also grabbed myself quite a lot of Wizard Oil that I'm probably going to use while leveling in TBC 2, and I do want to grab myself the Spell Power Enchant on my PvP weapon as well. That's one of the big gold investments that I'm going to do. So let's talk about professions briefly. It's actually quite difficult to get professions up to level 300 in Classic, and I'm struggling to do it with the correct recipes, but I am probably just going to invest the gold into bright cloth pants and just craft a few of these. Anyway, as you can see, I am very nearly getting my tailoring up to level 300. And what I did is essentially, whenever I was leveling up this character, I automatically sent any cloth that I got, even if I didn't need the cloth for leveling, just any cloth. I didn't sell any vendor any cloth, I didn't auction any cloth, I just sent it to a bank alt. And then when I went over to that bank alt, I had about 800 pieces of rune cloth from the various dungeon grinds I've been doing and solo leveling. And I basically leveled up all the way to 290 just by doing that, essentially, by leveling passively. Now, the reason why I'm obviously leveling tailoring is for tailoring cooldowns when TBC drops. They can make you a lot of money, and I do need the cooldowns myself to craft particular pieces of gear. So I'm aiming to have at least 3 tailoring odds. I'm not going too hardcore. I know some people are going, you know, for 10 or even, you know, on multiple accounts. You can really take it quite far. But yeah, I'm just having a 3 tailoring alts. I'm going to level the priest max tailoring, and then I'm going to have the boosted character at max tailoring. If I also have a rogue, when I can transfer him over to this PvE server, I can also give him tailoring. And as you can see, I'm on my bank alt here. I would recommend setting up a bank alt as well. He has a big bank going, you know, because I made loads of rune cloth bags while I was leveling up too. And yeah, there's just loads of like junk cloth lying around for when, you know, I'm ready to level these all, so I don't have to go through the effort of buying them. I know like wool cloth and everything's quite cheap, but you know, just as I've been leveling, I've just been sending it to this character, and it's just going to make it so much easier to level up all of my tailoring alts. So whenever I'm finding cloth in the open world, I'm just sending it to this character, and I'd probably recommend actually setting up 2 bank alts, because you will probably start running out of space. I mean, it's a good tip if you are leveling in a pre-patch, you're leveling a Draenei or a Blood Elf, you just, yeah, start sending cloth to a bank alt. Another thing I wanted to do was maximize the amount of gold I'm making while leveling tailoring. So what I've done is I've made a lot of rune cloth belts. Okay, and they're all in the mailbox of this character. This character is a very special character. He is just essentially a level 5 character who has enchanting. And I'm literally, all I'm going to do is use this character for disenchanting. Now, the thing is, in Classic, you can just basically disenchant anything as long as you're an enchanter, right? You don't need a certain amount of skill to disenchant a higher level item. But in when a pre-patch drops, that that all changes to how it is basically on retail, where you actually have to skill up your, you know, enchanting skill to disenchant particular items, which is, you know, bad, because you would have to level up your enchanting, and I don't really want to spend the time doing that. So what I'm doing is I'm basically going to start opening all these bags. I press open. I don't have bags on this character yet, which was a bit of a oversight from me, but it'd be fine, because all I'm doing is essentially going to start to disenchant all of this gear on this character, as you can see. So I've basically just made a very simple level 5 character, and I'm just going to start disenchanting all of the gear, and then I'm going to sell all this enchanting mats, whatever you want to call it, on the auction house. And the reason why I'm doing that is because in a pre-patch, the cost of enchanting mats are definitely going to go up, because people are going to be wanting to enchant, you know, particular enchants on their alts gear, because people are, you know, going to be leveling Draenei's and Shamans, and they'll want, you know, beefy enchants, primarily, most likely, the recipe, you know, the materials that are required for the weapon enchants. Those will probably go up in price, so I'm just going to have loads and loads of enchanting mats on one of my bank alts, and I'm just going to auction it all. And then obviously all the gold that I will make during that time will be used for TBC. And that is the, you know, the brunt of what I'm doing to prepare for TBC. There are many other things that I am going to be doing, very unique and strange things that I will be doing to prepare for the actual launch of TBC, which is essentially more of a strategy of how I'm going to approach the TBC launch, which will probably be very different to the majority of other people, because a lot of other people are obviously just going to grind dungeons for rep and everything like that. I'm not taking that route. I'm taking a very different route, and I am going to make a video about that basically after this one. And I do actually need a solid buddy to help me with the actual the strategy that I'm going to do. So more information about that later. You can look forward to that coming very soon. It'll probably going to, you know, drop it by the end of this week. But anyway guys, that is going to be the end of the video there. My name is MetaGoblin. Until my next video, ciao.